So in the question, where to find for priority algorithm, which is non-preemptive algorithm, where to find out average waiting time and average turnaround time. So what is given in the question, we are having processes along with the burst and along with the priority. So here the priorities we have to consider whether we have to consider low value means higher priority or high value means the lower priority. So here the lower value means the higher priority. Okay, so according to that, so this P2 is having the highest one and P0 is having the lowest one. So what we are going to do, we are going to execute the processes based on the priority. So for calculating the average waiting time, we should know what is the waiting time. For that we are going to add the formula waiting time here, which is having the start time minus the arrival time. But here, as this in this question there is no arrival time, so this formula is not going to be used. So which formula will be used? Whatever formula we are, whatever value we are using, we are getting from the Gantt chart, those value will be used. Then after the waiting time, what we are having, we are having the turnaround time. What is the formula for turnaround time? Is the waiting time plus the burst time. So whenever in the question arrival time is not mentioned, so arrival time will always going to consider as 0, and as there is no arrival time, we are not going to use this formula. Whatever value we are going to get from the Gantt chart, that is going to be used. So we are going to draw the Gantt chart. So what is there according to this, which is the having the priority algorithm. So P0 P2 will be given the chance first. So P2 will be given the chance first. So what is the waiting time for the P2? Because this is the first one, it's not going to wait for execution. So waiting time for P2 will be 0. Now this is the non-preemptive algorithm. Once the chance is given to P2, P2 is going to fully going to be executed. So P2 is going to be executed fully. So what will be the next process, the who is going to be executed? So after this P2 has completed, the next priority is given to P1. So P1 will be executed. How much slot is needed by the P1 is 4 burst time. So 10 plus 4 will be 14. Okay, so what is the waiting time for P1? P1 has waited for 10 milliseconds. So waiting time for the P1 will be 10 milliseconds. Now the next chance will be given to the remaining one, which is P0. So till what time the P0 has waited? P0 has waited for 14 milliseconds. At what time is going to complete? 14 plus the burst time is 17. So now the turnaround time, waiting time of the P0 is 14 plus the burst time is 3, that is 17. Now turnaround time for P1 is waiting time 10 plus the burst time, that is 4, will be 14. Then the turnaround time for P2 with the waiting time as 0 and the burst time as 4, as 10. Now the average waiting time will be 14 plus 10 plus 0 divided by 3, and average turnaround time will be 17 plus 4 plus 10 divided by 3. So this is your average turnaround time, and here we are having the average waiting time.